Just know, like, I've had, like, way too much coffee today. That's probably good for me.
I don't know why I do this to myself.
I hate it a lot.
I've never looked more like a writer in this moment, you know?
So I started this vlog super late. It is October 18th and it is 4 p.m. Not only have I been here for like 3 weeks already, but it's also 4 p.m. So, and I've done no writing today. And you know what? Sometimes you need days like that. Like today, I really felt like I needed to rest, reflect, and reconnect with God. So that's what my priority was. I went for a walk, read my Bible, did some praying, and it was a really good time. Hung out with some people, you know. But now I feel very inspired to write, especially because it is raining outside, and every author knows that when it rains, like that's the prime time to really get down to write, especially the story I'm writing, which it's like kind of like a darker, gloomier atmosphere. The rain really helps me focus a lot and helps me feel more immersed in the world. So I just finished doing some budgeting. I hate it. Just like anything to do with math and numbers and money is like my least favorite thing to do and probably the bane of my existence. So I'm happy I got that out of the way, even though it's, you know, stressful. Anyways, I am about to sit down to write, and let me show you what I usually do before I start my writing process. So usually I first get out Spotify. So I have a bunch of playlists here, and I always write with, I always have like a writing playlist, you know, because I write so much better with music. And so this is the one I have for the Winds of Destiny. I'm still like building it because I'm trying to like keep it so that it still has like some of the like songs from like my original like the first draft of writing. Like I want some of that to be in there, but then I'm also feeling inspired by like other music that's like really creating the atmosphere for the story. And then because like this story is supposed to take place in 2015, I've also like taken the time to like really think about like what music Carter would be listening to at this point in the story, and like doing that has been so fun. And so I've added like a lot of like old songs that I used to listen to. Like I've added so much Imagine Dragons to this playlist, and I also like really got into Bleachers again randomly, and so like the Bleachers Strange Desire album is fully on here and fully incorporated into the new version of the story, and I'm very excited about it. The next thing I like to do is I like to pull up my story. So like I have a video on this on my TikTok, but I work on like Google Docs and Scrivener. So if you go back to like my homepage here, like you see I have Scrivener open, and essentially I find it easier to draft on like Microsoft Word or Google Docs. I don't have Microsoft Word anymore because they were gonna charge me too much for it, but I just find it easier drafting in that format as opposed to like in Scrivener. But I like the idea of like keeping track of my word count and keeping track of like how much words I need to meet each day in order to like meet my goal. And like I'm trying not to be super strict with that. I'm definitely more of a let's finish these chapters as like to mark my progress, but I'm trying to get into the word count thing because that's what everyone else is doing. So I have to, you know, feel included. But also I just know that that's like a really good way to track progress as a writer. So what I do is I will write out the chapter, like rewrite the chapters I'm working on, and I'll do that in Google Docs, and then copy what I've written into Scrivener, and like so I have it backed up as well, but also so that I can see how much progress I have made in my document. So if I look at Scrivener right now, it says that I'm supposed to be writing 1,600 words today. I can tell you right now that that's not gonna happen. And I'm not gonna meet 1,000 words either. And like this is the thing about being in Florida, is like I'm not gonna get the word count that I would if I'm back home in Toronto. Like my life here is so more social than back home, and like I have responsibilities back home, but I also have different responsibilities here. And so like that transition is really interesting, and maybe I should make a video about it. But for now, I'm not going to do that. Really, like, I just know, like, my word count is not going to be the same here as it's going to be back home in Toronto. And I know, too, like, I'm trying to give myself grace for that, because I know that if I don't meet the 1,600 words today, I'm going to make up for it some other time. There's going to be a day where I write 3,000 words, and, like, that's going to be super great. But just, like, any little word count, like, this is, like, kind of the philosophy that I've been running on, is, like, every word counts. And even just showing up for, like, a little bit and putting in, like, a few hundred words or a few, 80 words or something like that, like, that's still progress towards reaching my goal, and that's still me sitting down and, like, choosing to immerse myself in the story and finish the story. So if we look at Scrivener here, I love Scrivener. This is, like, so cool. So basically I have 11,154 words in the story so far, and my goal is to be around 100,000 words. My deadline that I've set for myself is, I think it's December 31st. I think I said just until, like, the end of this next quarter, and I started working on this, like, at the beginning of September. I did a whole read through of the story, and then I started really, like, doing the rewrite just before I left for Florida and at the end of September. So I have hope that I can finish the story by December 31st, or at least around that time, but you never know. And I'm really trying to stick to a deadline and stick to my goals, so I feel very motivated. I keep burping. What I'm trying to say is that I feel very motivated to continue and to keep going and to, like, really meet that goal that I've set for myself. And if I'm talking really fast, just know, like, I've had, like, way too much coffee today. That's probably good for me. But I was really exhausted after this weekend. It was a very busy weekend. A lot of driving, a lot of running around, a lot of social interactions, and the introvert in me was, like, done. So that's why I'm talking so fast and have so much energy right now. It's because I've had, like, 8 cups of coffee. Okay, so I'm gonna stop distracting myself with this camera / my phone, and I'm gonna just start putting some words in.
1 hour later.
So it's been about an hour, and I've been writing and rereading just like what I wrote previously, and I only have, like, 411 words written in this, like, session. It's better than I thought it was going to be. It really feels like I just wrote, like, 80 words or, like, 10 words. I'm finding this section, like, this scene, like, really difficult to write, because basically when I was editing this story, I realized that there were 2 scenes that were fulfilling a very similar purpose, and my goal when I was going into editing this was to take those scenes and kind of merge them and take some dialogue from that original scene and put it into the conversation and the setting of this other scene. And I just felt like that would make the story a lot stronger, and it would help with, like, the pacing of the novel as well, because one of the things I noticed is that parts of the novel really dragged out a lot because I was over explaining things, or because, like, there were 2 scenes that were doing the exact same thing, and that's not really necessary for the story. So I'm finding it really difficult, though, kind of gauging, like, where I want the conversation to go. And I think it's because, too, I know what I want this scene to show. Like, I know that there are certain themes that are supposed to be emphasized in this one scene, and there's supposed to be some character things that are going on. And it's just hard when I always find it difficult merging different scenes, just because it's like, what do I cut out and what do I keep in? And what do I completely change and what do I not? And I think, like, the process of figuring that out is just continuing to write and continuing to try and, like, fit those puzzle pieces together. And unfortunately, that's, like, a much longer process than, like, just writing it out. And I enjoy, like, the puzzle part. Like, that's something I love about, like, rewriting and editing. Like, that's why that stage works really well for me, is because I like just, like, solving problems. I like figuring out what's working, what's not working, and improving it from there. I'm gonna try and continue working on this. I'm starting not to feel super well, but I really want to, like, push past, like, this little hump I'm in right now, and I know that if I just get things out, I can always go back and fix it again. And that's what I keep telling myself, because, like most writers, I am a perfectionist, and the thought of not going back to fix things after I've put them down on the paper, like, during this drafting process, I hate it. I hate it a lot. But we're trying to fast draft here, so I can't go back and fix things up. So I'm gonna get back to it and I'll update you guys in a little bit. I literally wrote for like maybe 3 more minutes before I realized I was hungry. Sour cream and onion chips are superior. I don't care what anyone else says. Literally the best. It's been a few more hours and I forced myself to finish the chapter. I was just like, you know what, I need to just like get it out, what it's gonna look like, and then I can go back after and fix it up. And it feels fine. Like, it's not like my best work, and like that's always really difficult to just move past when you're drafting a novel. And I know I said that I wasn't going to do this, but like honestly, I am probably going to go back tomorrow morning and just like polish this chapter up a little bit. Again, I know that I said I wasn't supposed to do that, but I just like, I cannot sit still with it. And I think because like this is a rewrite, I'm allowing myself to just kind of take my time with the chapters because I already know the story. I'm really just cleaning up the prose and just like the course of events and just tying some things together just to improve the original like published novel. So I'm just letting myself go back tomorrow morning to just polish up what I wrote and maybe add like a few more things so that I'm ready to go into the next chapter as well tomorrow. And that's pretty much all the writing I'm gonna do for today. To be honest, my brain has been like super dead and like not that creative today at all. Like, I wasn't even planning on sitting down and writing today. Like, my plan today was really just to rest, and I really have done that. Like, I spent a lot of time today like reading my Bible. I went for a walk and I just spent a lot of time in prayer, like even praying about this project and about YouTube and about just asking God like what he really wants me to do with my time and what he really wants me to do with the gifts that he's given me, and just surrender those things to him and let him, you know, guide me as I write and as I create things. Because like that's a huge thing about being a Christian creative. It's like, it's not just you. Like, I'm not just doing this for the sake of doing it. Like, it is fun and it is something I enjoy, but it's also just something that I really feel like God has given me to do, whether it's to like write books for my future kids, to like publish when I die, or whether it's to publish it and to have a huge audience, or to just have like the kids at my youth group read it. Like, I'm not here to just like blow up, you know, and just be an author for no reason. Like, there's a purpose behind what I'm doing. The paper kites. Hello, so it is Tuesday and it's almost 3 o'clock. I'm starting this vlog super late in the day, and like 90% of it is just I'm not used to vlogging. This is like really the first time that I've done this, or at least done this in a long time. So we're learning, we're getting there. But I just wanted to give you guys an update. So today I went and I worked at my friend's house. She lives in an apartment, and I used to live with her previously when I was staying here a few months ago. Basically, I just went and I worked at her house, and I was supposed to be getting writing done while I was there. That was supposed to be my time, but we were both really distracted and really just like not in the mood to work. And it sucks because Florida is like finally, It sucks because Florida is finally like, it's in a cold front right now, and I know it's not going to last for a while, but it feels like Canada. Like, it felt like Canada, at least this morning, when it was like 12 or 15 degrees Celsius out. Don't even ask me what that is in Fahrenheit. I still have no idea what the difference is. But basically, we didn't end up getting any work done, and I wanted to because the fall vibes, like, it really just like, it's the writing weather. Like, you know, you get cozy, you get a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, whatever you're feeling, and you sit and write in the gloomy cold weather. Like, it's such a vibe. And I really just folded. Like, my brain has been everywhere today. I've been super fog brain because, you know, I'm a girl. And once a month, that happens to us. I'm really out of it, and it sucks because I did want to get a lot of writing done today. Like, my hope was that today would be a really good work day, but that didn't end up happening. So sometimes that happens, though. You know, sometimes you have those days, and I know yesterday was a little bit of that day as well, but it sucks when it's like on it. Like, I didn't plan on writing yesterday, but it kind of sucks like on days when you actually do want to write and you just can't get the words out, or the inspiration isn't there, or your brain just isn't cooperating with you, and that's fine, I guess. Anyway, so I ran a bunch of errands, had lunch, and now I'm probably gonna go to Starbucks. I was trying not to go there because I don't want to keep spending so much money on coffee. I'd rather just have coffee back at the house where I'm staying, but to drive from where I am now all the way back there just for coffee, and then to have to come back here to like pick people up and drive people places is like, it's just, there's no point, you know? Like, by the time I get there, I'm gonna have to come all the way back here, and it's just, I'm not gonna have enough time to sit and do anything. And I would like to like sit and write, but really I just like really feel like sitting and reading my Bible and spending time with the Lord in prayer and just journaling. That's what I'm about to go do now. I'm looking around because there's definitely people watching me film this in the parking lot right now. How do people do this? Anyways, I'm gonna get going now, probably sit outside in this coolish weather, have either coffee or a water or something, and just relax, you know, maybe get some writing done, but goal is to read my Bible and spend time with God. So we're gonna go do that. So this is another car video because this is where I spend like a solid like 50% of my day probably. I have 0 words today. It's gonna stay that way probably because I'm not gonna have any time to sit down and write, and that's okay because, you know, sometimes you just realistically cannot write every day, and I think we need to like kill that assumption that like consistency means you do something every day. I think consistency is way more about like, you know, continually returning to the work that you told yourself you were gonna do, whether it's every other day, whenever you get a chance, like just continue to work on it. Anyways, all I'm trying to say is that I feel like consistency doesn't mean that you write every day or you work on your creative project every day. Like, I think it's just that, you know, maybe every other day you work on it, or on weekends, or whenever you have time. Like, it's just continuing to put in the work.
That's like having your car shut off for 2 weeks and just not touching it. And then turn it back off. I know, I mean like
because even though something bad would happen,
Never looked more like a writer in this moment. You know, unwashed face, unbrushed hair, hoodie, sweatpants, and yet I've done no writing in like the past like 4 days. I don't know, I don't remember. Okay, I remembered. It's Thursday. Thursday was the last time that I did any writing. It is, right now it is Monday. It is 8:30 a.m. on October 24th. I know there's a lot of people on here who are probably getting ready for NaNoWriMo, and I would just like to point out that I will not be doing NaNoWriMo. I have tried so many times to do NaNoWriMo, and honestly, like, it is just not for me. Like, I cannot draft the way that they want me to. My life is way too busy to like even like commit an entire month to like, you know, writing a whole novel in a month. And I think it's just like, I don't know, I just feel like it does not suit me. I think it's extremely stressful and I don't like it. Maybe next year I will try it because I really want to like work on like fast drafting books. And I know that NaNoWriMo is really good for that, so I might like save another project and like try and do Nano with like a different project. Anyways, the plan today is I am in the car driving. I got Starbucks because I needed to wake up. This weekend was pretty cool. There were like some exciting things happening with my friends and with me, which I was not expecting. God works in very crazy, mysterious ways. I obviously am not going to be talking about any of that on this vlog, because this vlog is basically like, in my whole like YouTube channel, I want the focus to be on like my books. Like, I want the focus to be on like the novels and the fiction that I'm writing, not like, you know, the rest of my life is separate. But basically, yeah, so plan today is I just dropped off people at work, and I am heading back to the place where I'm staying. I have a lot of cleaning up to do, which I'm not like super excited about, because I really would just love to like sit down with my coffee right now and get like straight into writing. But I know that like I can't really do that when my space is a mess. Like I need my space to be like organized in order for me to like actually get in the zone. Also, it will just nag me. It will just like really bother me if I know that there's like mess that needs to be cleaned up, or like just things that need to be put away, or things that need to be organized like while I'm writing. Like that will eat away at me. So I want to go back to the house and I want to figure that out. I want to fix it up. And I also want to go for a walk. And so my plan is to utilize those times to get myself back into the swing of things and back into the mood to write. So there are a few things that I do to like do that. Basically what I'm doing to like get myself into like the mood to write is like so when I go for my walk and when I clean the room, like I will either be listening to a writing podcast, or I will be like while I'm going for my walk probably. But while I'm cleaning, like I might listen to a podcast on writing, or like an interview with an author, something that's going to inspire me, or something that's gonna like teach me more something about my craft, and just like get me like really thinking about the story that I'm working on. And I always find that like that like really motivates me to write, even when it's like, you know, I'm with this book, like I'm not really drafting it, like I'm doing a rewrite, and it's not like anything super crazy. Like it's a little bit more of a rewrite than I originally thought, but still, like it's, you know, like just trying to find like something that's going to inspire me to continue working on my story and actually like sit down and put some words in today. Like that's kind of what I'm gonna do. The other thing that I love to do is listen to my writing playlist. So basically for every story that I have a playlist, and I outline my books with music, because music is a huge part of my life. And I always find like I can't write without music. Like I can't get in the zone without music, and it has to be like the right music. So I spend a lot of time making Spotify playlists for my projects, and honestly it's so worth it, especially at the end when it's like I have a playlist that you can listen to while you read the book, and like straight through, like while I'm drafting the book or editing the book. Like it's fire, like it's awesome. That's the plan right now. I have a little bit of time this afternoon that I need to fill, and it's frustrating because it's like I do want to, like I probably will get more writing done during that time, like on my book, but at the same time, like I've been doing a bit more like content writing again. Like for those who don't know, I also do like freelance publicity writing, and I've been like really inspired for like some new content to like be posting on social media for that. And part of me is torn, because part of me wants to work on that today because I feel super motivated to do it, and like I haven't been feeling that way for like the past little while, because a lot of my focus has been going to working on the Winds of Destiny 2.0. I guess it's 2.0, yeah, I don't know, second edition, there you go. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. I am trying to be like more disciplined with writing my book, but it's really hard while I'm here, just because like I'm running off of other people's schedules. There's just, you know, there's always like gonna be a lot of distractions, I think, but like I think really like the main thing that I've been feeling led to do is just like take the time that I have here to like really like spend with the Lord. Like that's been on my heart a lot recently, and like I'm finding that in most of the spare time that I do have, like that's what my heart wants to do, which is always super encouraging. And like I've been really encouraged by that while I've been here, is just like recognizing that like thirst and that desire to just like simply like read the Bible and pray and just spend time with God. Like that's just so beautiful when like you really like recognize that within yourself, and you just like see the growth that's there. Because when I was like a teenager, and even like just when I was like in high school, and even like in the first couple years of university, it's like the thought of like sitting down and reading my Bible was just so daunting, and it was so like I don't want to do this. Like, I do want to do it, but I also don't. Like, I could be doing other things. And it's just, like, cool to see how, like, God has changed that in me. Especially when it comes to writing. Sometimes I think it's, like, encouraging because a lot of the times I find that, you know, I'd rather just, like, sit down and write. And, like, I see a lot of other YouTubers where it's, like, they'll go and they'll wake up early and the first thing they'll do is just get their words in, or like go to bed and the first thing they do is like they write to like go to sleep. And like I just simply can't do that. And it's because like my priority is always going to be my relationship with God. And it's like, yeah, like I worship him through my writing and everything, but if I'm not just like finding rest in him first, if I'm not setting my focus on him, what I'm writing can easily become about me and not about glorifying him or about blessing other people. Like, it could easily become just, like, very self-focused for me. But more than anything, like, I find, like, it's more of a struggle. Like, if I don't have, like, the help of the Holy Spirit in creating, like, I just, like, it's just a battle, like, sitting down to writing the page. And, like, if you follow me on, like, Instagram, like, I talk a lot about how there's, like, it's on Instagram, like I talk a lot about creativity and faith, and it's because like they go hand in hand, I believe. And like I really just like struggle a lot with like self-doubt and imposter syndrome, like most writers do. It's the torture writer stereotype that is like truly real. I just like constantly like need the Spirit to just remind me of what is true about myself and about the work that I'm making. And so I can't just get up and write. I have to get up and I have to spend time with God. I have to pray. I have to read my Bible. And that's not like a rule thing. Like, it's not like, okay, like if I don't do this, like God's gonna hate me. If I don't do this, like I'm not, like, it's not like a religious thing. It's just like in my own spirit and for my own mental well-being, like I have to do that. So this intro to this day is getting much longer, but I just wanted to give you guys an update on like where I was at, what I'm thinking. I'm gonna turn this off now because I'm still talking and driving, and you know, technically you're not really supposed to be doing that. Anyways, I'm gonna go now and I'll give you an update later. So it is October 25th. Not 26. I'm pretty sure I wrote 26 in my journal. Clearly, I have no concept of time, dates, or anything in this vlog. But basically, it is 11:37. My brain fog is still here, and I don't particularly know why. I'm probably gonna go for like a walk around the neighborhood just to like get myself out of this, because for some reason I'm just like so not present like in here, which is bad because I really want to be working on my book. I didn't get to work on it yesterday. I ended up anyways, I didn't end up getting to work on my story yesterday. I ended up actually doing a bit of like social media stuff. Like I've said before, like I run another account on Instagram called Created to Create Co., which is basically a freelance writing service for authors, but like I also kind of use it as like a blog page to like talk about like creativity and like a lot of like the things that I really feel like God is teaching me about how like my faith and my creative gifts fit together, and just like, you know, giving helpful tips for people, whether it's on business or on art itself. And I write a lot about that on my main page as well. So I was doing like a lot of social media work yesterday. Since I'm in Florida and I'm away from home, like I called my parents, so I didn't really get much like work done, but I'm trying to remind myself that like these things are also important and these things are really priority. Like I think as creatives, sometimes we can get so invested in like our creative projects and we can get so sucked in that we forget about a lot that's really important. And like, especially like our relationships with other people should be our priority. Like our relationship with God should be our priority. And it's like, yeah, this is a good thing. And like God wants to use your creativity and he wants to, you know, use the art that you're making to touch people and to reveal himself to people. But that can't trump the other things. And so that's something that
I really feel like is being taught to me while I'm here is just like keeping my priorities straight. Because I think it's really easy to put like so much pressure on yourself to work and to be productive in the sense of like, you know, making progress in your project or making progress at your job or whatever you're trying to achieve right now. And progress is good and chasing your goals is good, but that can be so consuming that we forget what's like actually important. And that's something I have to always check myself with before I sit down to write or work on anything, is that like my worth and my identity is not in the winds of destiny. My worth and identity is not in the success of whatever I write or whatever I create. It's in who Jesus is, and getting back to that place and reminding myself like, hey, like this is not about you. Like this is about glorifying God and also enjoying writing. Like writing is supposed to be fun. And especially when it comes to my fiction, I find when I do put too much pressure on myself that it loses its fun. And then I don't want to write it. And then I'm just anxious and afraid. And so I think today my goal isn't to get my word count in, because I already know that that's not going to happen anyways. But my goal is to just have fun and to enjoy the process. So I still have all my like tabs open for like my social media work. So I'm exiting those now to like get myself in the fiction writer, author Charlotte E. Craig, not created to create Charlotte. Like I have to take off that hat and put on this one. So I'm just pulling out my documents now because I closed them all yesterday when I was working on other stuff. Oh, I forgot I renamed it. TWDOD. TWOD, second edition. There we go. You know, it sucks not having a second monitor while I'm here, because I have to like split screen the old like Winds of Destiny document with the new one, and I just like I'm straining to see the words on the page. And so I do miss my second monitor. And like there is a place I could go to like use a second monitor, but I just know if I go there I'm not going to be able to focus. Like that's not going to happen. So I'm trying to just like stay put today. I'm getting some chores done, which helps a lot. Like if you ever feel like you're getting distracted or anything, like give yourself chores to do. Wash some dishes, do some laundry, have like a mandatory break so like you can go and do something else and then come back to your project. Like that helps me so much. Yeah, so I'm on part 2 still, just the beginning of part 2. It looks like I finished chapter 6. So chapter 6 is like the first part in part 2 of the book. And so I'm going to probably have to reread a couple chapters before I actually get to writing, just so I remember what I was doing and where I was, because it has been a week since I've even looked at this document. So that's fun. This happens to me all the time, and I always hate it. But here we are. This is why I always end up rewriting the other chapters, because I always end up having to reread them. And then I just can't help myself but like make them better. Like I can't just like sit here and read it. Like I need to like tweak it and I need to polish it. Being a writer is very difficult. That's the moral of this story. So I'm going to stop procrastinating now with filming myself talking about writing, and I'm going to actually write. I will check in with you guys in like maybe an hour. An hour is a safe option. Going to go right now. Peace. I forgot to mention that what I'm actually going to be doing. I said like I'm going to probably set a timer for an hour, and you know, like that's going to be like the block of time that I work on this, and then I'm going to take a little bit of a break. But what I want to try doing is something that I saw the YouTuber Sincerely Me do. Also, if you haven't watched any of her videos, you should really check her out because she's very inspiring. And she gives really good tips on like character building. Like I've learned a lot from her, so definitely go check out her channel. But basically I'm gonna do what she does, which is she'll write for like half an hour, or like do like a writing sprint for like 20 minutes, something like that. And then for 5 or 10 minutes, she'll read a book. So that's what I'm gonna be doing right now to see if like that helps me with like my creative process. And then what I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna take breaks to like do dishes and like do laundry and stuff like that. This is the setup right now. I have my laptop out and I actually am gonna use my rereader. I'm reading, oh my gosh, how do I not remember the name of this book? So I just borrowed this from the library. It's The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. I don't read thrillers. Like I don't remember the last time I've read a thriller. I don't remember the last time I read a book that was like super popular, and this book has been everywhere. It's on like the Reese's like book club, which usually I like the books that are on there. I've only read like, I actually think I've only read one and it was The Vanishing Half, and it was excellent. So far, I just started this morning and I really like it. I just like really have been in need of like a quick like read that's gonna like suck me in and that I can finish like really fast, because I've been in a reading slump. This happened the last time I was here, where I just like was not in the mood to read or even write my fiction. Like I was like way more invested in like my social media stuff, but right now I'm like pretty confident I want to work on this book and I want to read. So I'm gonna do a 30-minute sprint because I need to like reread some stuff, so I need to give myself some more time to like look through my book. And then I'm gonna do 5 minutes reading, and then I'm probably either gonna do 20 minutes or 30 minutes, and I'm gonna go switch over laundry next, and I'm just gonna continue, and we'll see how that goes for like the next like hour and a bit. Now for real, I'll check in with you later. So it's been a little bit and I've been writing. I did some dishes, I had some lunch, I drank more coffee, I did the laundry like I said I would. I did not really read it all because I just got like really sucked in to working on my story. So my plan today was to start the new chapter, but as I was reading, I started fixing things, and I realized that there's so much in like the last like 2 chapters I wrote that like needed to be tweaked just like a little bit. They're just like little details, and a lot of like this is just me adding things to the story, so like little details, or just like altering like there's a certain part of the story like I'm adding to that like I just wanted to flesh out a bit more, that like wasn't really like emphasized in the original, and that is causing me to have to go back and just like add things in. And then I'm also working off the old document, and that's been interesting. And so my brain is like still super foggy, and like I think it's also just like this is like yeah, it's like solving a puzzle. So like basically there's like 2 chapters that were like serving the same purpose, and I'm trying to put them together, and I'm also trying to add some of like the little details to these chapters at the same time. And it's really, and I'm trying to fix the prose, and I changed the tense of the book. I don't know why I do this to myself. Like, it's just because I believe in the story so much, and I want it to be as good as it can be, which is why I really feel like it's worth it for me to do what I'm doing now, which is going back and rewriting. And I'm trying not to change too much, but I want to improve the story, and I want to make it the best it can be, especially because I'm really proud of like how the second book is, and like the changes I'm making here are not going to impact that at all. Like, this is really like the focus of this is just really to make this book more readable and more up to speed on like where I am at as an author right now. So solving this puzzle is being really difficult, and I want to give up for today, but I'm trying to like push myself to do like another hour or so, just because like it's fresh in my mind now. Like, I'm remembering the things I need to add, I'm remembering everything. I'm gonna like take a lot of notes. This is my like Winds of Destiny little notebook, but it's also a Sirius Black. But I have like a bunch of like rewrite notes in here that I've been like referencing, and I'm gonna add more notes to this so that I have like a plan of like, okay, like what have I already written down, like what do I need to add. And like part of the reason I haven't written it down is just because the ideas come to me as I'm writing. Like, I'm definitely more on the side of like a pantser discovery writer than a planner. I think my goal now, because I'm starting to get out of it, like I'm starting to like really like not be able to think straight, but like I want to like get as much work done on this book as possible today. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit for a minute, and I'm going to write out my ideas. I'm going to write out like what it needs to add, like what little, like what's going to happen in the next scene is basically what I want to write out. And like what details am I going to include that will like direct the story more in where like it needs to be. That's what I'm going to focus on. And then I'm going to maybe start writing the chapter, or maybe I'll just like let my ideas sit with me for the rest of the day and then get back to it tomorrow, because I know that tonight I'm not going to have time to really like sit down and do any of that. So I just, yeah, so that's the plan. I'm so tired.